Spread the word, not the virus. Hashtag fatten the curve on 405. Stay tuned for all your COVID-19 updates on News from Africa and 405.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Is it unmuted?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Who's with us?
Hello.
Oh, Adam, you with us? Hello, Anthony.
Hello, how are you?
Baruch Hashem. Hello, Brian. Who else with us? Lawrence.
Hello.
Lawrence, still on live.
Hello,
Thank you, Rabbi.
Tabo.
John Muscat, Linda.
Hello, Rob.
Who else? How's it? Good. Hello, Lawrence. Nice
Hi, Rabbi.
to see
Hi,
you
Rabbi.
all. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to be here, and I'm very pleased we've got this opportunity that we can do this.
Good. So we're just going to give a few more minutes for more people to join us, because I see more people joining. Give me a few more minutes. What are we going to speak today? We're going to speak about the book of Tehilim. What is the book of Tehilim, number one? Why, when we are in dire straits, we are reading Dafka book of Tehilim? And I'll tell you what made me make the shiur is last week, just before Shabbos, I got a message that our friend Liron got COVID-19 and is in dire straits. Really is critical. And then I say, why Dafka? And as you all know, we've done the marathon of Tehilim, quick. We done it on Saturday night. We done it also on Sunday. And Baruch Hashem, we managed to finish 10 times the book of Tehilim, 3 times on Saturday night and 7 times on Sunday. So we done really a big marathon. And Baruch Hashem, we managed. I see that there's more people joining. Hello, Gabriel. Hello, Louis. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm going to start the show. I'm going to mute everyone. I just need, Lawrence, please give me the Hebrew name. Lawrence?
Hello, Rob.
Please.
Yeah, hi, Rob. It's Gershon ben Pradel.
Gershon ben Pradel. Okay. Good.
Levy.
And it's Esther Bat Moshe, נכון?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Moshe Levy.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you. Okay, so בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. I'm going to mute everyone and I'm going to start the show בעזרת השם. Okay, השיעור יהיה לעילוי נשמת אסתר קדן בת קציה, גרשון בן פריידל, לעילוי נשמת אסתר בן משה הלוי, ולרפואת מנשה נג'י בן פרחה, לירון בן שרית, יהושע בן בתיה, שמואל בן מיכל, וראובן חיים בן עליה, וכל שאר חולי ופצועי עמו ישראל בכל מקום שהם. El Naref Hanala, El Naref Hanala. Okay, so today we're going to speak about the book of Tehilim. As you all know, the book of Tehilim is one of the most popular books that we have in Ketuvim. That every person, that wherever he is, in a time of dire strait, he reads Tehilim. But whatever we're going to speak about the book of Tehilim, you have to understand, I'm not going to manage to squeeze everything. There's so much to speak. In a short time that we have, I'm going to try to make my best to get to everything that we have on it. There's someone that's making noise, and I don't know who is it, so please mute yourself because it's disturbed me, whoever is it. Okay, so what's happening? Number one, the book of Tehilim. Let's start. What does it mean, the book of Tehilim? We take the book, the name Tehilim. What is Tehilim make? What is Tehilim make? Tehilim mean, number one, if you look, it's in plural. It's not on single. It's not like you say the book of Mishle, for example, Kohelet. No, Tehilim is in plural. we have to understand why dafka, it's in plural. That's the first question that we have to tackle. So Hazal explained that the book of Tehilim originally used to call Tilim. What it means, Tilim? Taf Yud, Lamet Yud, Mem Sofit, without the letters Hey. Come later on, the Rabbi Avraham Ibn Ezra and the Ramban, the Nachmanite, and they call it the Book of Praise. The Book of Praise. That's what they used to call that book, the Book of Praise. And if we take the word Tehilim, the root of that word is Tehillah. What is Tehillah is glory. So Hazal said that during those times, over the years, because they call it the Book of Praise, they added up the letters Hey, and it's become the Book of Tehilim in plural, because everyone praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and for the glory that he made with us. Okay, now we understand. Some fact about the Book of Tehilim. And I'm going to start with the Gemara in Masechet Baba Batra in page 14, folio 2. Hazal tells us that, as a matter of fact, the Book of Tehilim, written by David HaMelech, but with another 10 elderly. That means all of us intend to think that the Book of Tehilim, a matter of fact, been written only by David HaMelech. No, not at all. According to the Gemara in Masechet Baba Batra. And the Gemara says like this, that the Gemara been written, the Sefer Tehilim, the Gemara Hazal tell us in the Gemara that Sefer Tehilim been written by David HaMelech, another 10 elderly. Who they are? The first one is Adam HaRishon. Adam HaRishon wrote Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat. And then Malkitzedek. And then Avraham Avinu, Moshe Rabbeinu, Heiman, Yedutun, Asaf, and the 3 sons of Korah. And they wrote together, they composed the book of Tehilim. The Gemara in Masechet Pesachim in page 117, folio 1, there we see this completely something else. Hazal said, Tanu Rabbanan, Kol Shirot v'Tishbachot she'amar David HaMelech b'Sefer Tehilim, that means all the praise that David HaMelech wrote and the song that he wrote in Sefer Tehilim, it's David HaMelech. So we see that there is a different opinion. Not only that, Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Keneged Atzmo Amara. Rabbi Eliezer said that, David HaMelech wrote those songs or poems, what's happened to him. So you learn from here, and Rabbi Yoshua Omer, that he written it, Keneged Atzibur, Amaram, towards the public. Remember these two things. Rabbi Yoshua Omer, David HaMelech Rabbi Eliezer said that David HaMelech wrote the poem of Tehilim because all the story that happened with him, all the chores that he had. Rabbi Yoshua come and say, no, he wrote it for the public. We'll get to it just now. So we see from here that the book of Tehilim, there is a different opinion who wrote it. Some people say it was David HaMelech only, according to the Gemara in Masechet Pesachim. The Gemara in Masechet Baba Batra, they say no, David HaMelech wrote it, plus another 10 elderly. Okay, so we see from here that David HaMelech was a mahloket who really finished the book. Now, for us to understand, I'm going to start. There is in the book of Tehilim 150 chapters, as you all know. And the book of Tehilim is the longest book in the Tanakh, Rabotai, the longest book. And there is on chapter 119, there is something very interesting. Chapter 119, working according to the alphabetic. That means the poem 119 in the Sefer of Tehilim, working according to the alphabetic, and each verse there, each chapter, have 8 verses. And that's the longest chapter that there is in a book of Tehilim. Okay, now, David HaMelech wrote 73 poems in the book of Tehilim. That means we say that there is 150, remember. So you do with me the calculation. David HaMelech wrote 73, according to one version. Then 12 of them wrote Asaf, Mizmor le'Asaf. Bnei Korach wrote 11. Shlomo HaMelech wrote 2 poems. One wrote Eitana Ezrahi. Eitana Ezrahi referring to Abraham Avinu. Moshe Rabbeinu wrote also 1 poem. Okay, and that's poem number 90. So if you add up together, we have 100. What happened to the other 50? The other 50, if you look, these 50 Mizmorim poem in Sefer Tehilim, that there's no name into it. There's no one know who wrote it. That means that from here we learn that there is 50 Mizmorim, but no one know who wrote them. And if you look carefully, now, remember that we count 100. If you look at the first 100 of those Mizmorim, you can see in the beginning of each Mizmor, it says who composed it. It's mentioned the name that the person that composed it. But the last 50, it doesn't mention who wrote them. Now, we have to understand something very important about Sefer Tehilim. Sefer Tehilim, as we explained at the beginning, it's a book of glory, a book of salvation, but it's a book of praise, we have to understand. And each one of those chapters, there is a special segula. If people looking for special segulot, if you read at the beginning, there's a certain book of Tehilim, and they explain to you that what is the good by reading that poem? What is it helping? That means that each poem of Tehilim can bring salvation. And why is it? Chazal explained that David HaMelech have so much sorrows that no one can imagine what sorrows he have. And David HaMelech wrote all of that book of Tehilim and praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu, adore that he have all of those sorrows. That means that David HaMelech adore that he was in dire strait. Just to give you some idea, you know that David HaMelech, until the age of 28, been fought by his father and his brother, Lo Aleinu, that David HaMelech is a mamzer. His father and his brother was thinking that he's a mamzer. Can you understand that? That means David HaMelech, since he was young, been sent to the Judaism desert to become what? A shepherd. That means he have to cook for himself, he have to look after himself, by himself, lonely. And David HaMelech, when he come in the front of Shaul to fight with Goliath, what did he say to Shaul? He said to him, give me a chance, I'm going to fight Goliath. And he said to him, Avdecha, your servant, kill the bear and the lion. Why? Because David HaMelech looked after his herd. And when the lion tried to take one of the sheep, David HaMelech fought with the lion. When the bear tried to eat one of those cattle, David HaMelech fought with him. That means that David HaMelech, all the trouble that the person can imagine, have. Loneliness, being deserted by his own family. By his own family, his father and his sister. His father and his brothers. Where do we learn that? David HaMelech said in Sefer Tehilim, Muzar haiti lehai. I was strange to my brothers. What it means strange? If you look at the commentary that Chazal explained about it, it means that his brother and his father, until the age of 28, until Shmuel HaNavi came and anointing him, they was thinking that David HaMelech lo alenu mamzer. You know what is it? Who can live with that? Who wouldn't commit suicide? David HaMelech lonely. David HaMelech, every time that he was in dire strait, he prays HaKadosh Baruch Hu and sing. That will help us to understand Why are we saying it? So the Mefarshim explain like this. The Mefarshim said, David HaMelech wrote this Sefer Tehilim, that each one of the Jewish people, whenever he's going to be in a certain situation, whatever situation that he's going to be, and he read that Tehilim, that's going to be a salvation to him. Because each one of us, listen to that, the Malbim say that each one of us, we are a spark of the soul of David HaMelech. That means each Jewish person have inside him the spark of David HaMelech. David HaMelech, just to give you a bit of history about him, David HaMelech was supposed to born and to die immediately. Adam HaRishon that saw it, given him 70 years of his life. Adam HaRishon was supposed to live for 1,000 years. But he given David HaMelech 70 years, therefore he lived for 900, okay, and 30 years. Because he given 70 years to David HaMelech. David HaMelech born in Shabbat and died on Shabbat, okay? That's in Shavuot. David HaMelech said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, how do I know when I'm going to die? When is supposed to be my day? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want to reveal to him. But David HaMelech knew the secret, that if you study Torah, you can't die. And then the Mefarshim explained the tricks that the Yetzer Hara done on him. And David HaMelech, for a split of a second, that he stopped from Sefer Torah, that's when the Malach HaMavet, the angel of death, took his soul. So David HaMelech knew that Jewish people are going to get to all different situations, all different dire straits. He composed the Sefer Tehilim according to his Tzoros. Why? That when they come to that situation and they'll read it, that's going to be a salvation to them. And now we can understand what it says in the Gemara in Masechet Pesachim. Do you remember? I told you to remember. According to Rabbi Yeshua, he wrote it for everyone. According to Rabbi Eliezer, he wrote it to himself. Now that's how it fit. What does it mean? Nachon, that he wrote it about the situation that happened to him. And every situation that he was, every tzoros that he had, he wrote that poem. Come Rabbi Yeshua and say, no, he wrote it for the public. Both of them, Divrei Elohim Haim. Why? Because they both fit. David HaMelech wrote on his time. And what happened to him? Rabbi Yeshua said that he wrote it for everyone also. That when Jewish people are going to be in dire strait, in a problem, and they read the book of Tehilim, that's going to be their salvation. And I explained that the Malbim say, you know why? Because when the Jewish people read the book of Tehilim, the spark of the neshama, the spark of the soul, come from where? From the soul of David HaMelech. And now we can understand what the Gemara in Masechet Pesachim tell us. And that's how it fit exactly together, one with each other, the two opinions of in the Gemara. Okay. So we understand, number one, that the book of Tehilim, there is 150 chapters. The book of Tehilim is the longest book in the Tanakh. We understand that not only David HaMelech wrote the book of Tehilim, according to the Gemara in Masechet Baba Batra, Yud Daled Amud Bet, 14, folio 2, we say that another 10 elderly also wrote the book of Tehilim, helped them to write the book of Tehilim, and etc. Okay. Now we have to understand something else. The book of Tehilim is a book that can help to solve a lot of problems, we say. We say that the book of Tehilim, a matter of fact, is a book that can solve all the problems. What does it mean, all the problems? And now I'm going to get for the remedy that Hazal tell us about the book of Tehilim. But before that, I'm sure that you have questions. If someone have a question, please unmute yourself, because before I'm going to go to the remedy of the book of Tehilim, because that I'm going to need to focus, and then I'll give time after that. But before I move on, sorry, if someone want to ask questions so far about the book of Tehilim. No. So let's continue. So we say that the book of Tehilim is a remedy for salvation. Where do we learn that? So listen what the Shalah Kadosh. Shalah Kadosh was Rabbi Yeshaya Levy Horovitz. He born in a city of Prague in the Czech Republic 462 years ago. And he said like this, that David HaMelech, listen to that, wrote, David HaMelech katav Sefer Tehilim beruach HaKodesh. That means David HaMelech wrote the book of Tehilim with the Holy Spirit, in Ruach HaKodesh. Haomer Tehilim, okay? Hu ke'adam shemitpalel. Say Hashalah Kadosh. When a person read Tehilim, it's considered like davening. Okay? And he continues and say, V'hu gam ke'osek b'Torah. It's considered like he's studying Torah. Ki David HaMelech asked, listen what he says, Hashalah Kadosh, and I'm going to bring the source to it, that the person that read Tehilim will receive the same merit like the studying deep sugya in a shas. Kenegaim v'oalot. I'll get to it. That's mean. Many people think, what is it to read Tehilim? I'd rather study Gemara. I'd rather study Halacha. Nachon, you're obligated. But has v'shalom to think that the book of Tehilim is not important. Is as important as the most difficult sugyot in a shas. Negaim v'oalot. The Tzemach Tzedek, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, he born in Belarus. He was from the Chabad, one of the Rebbe of the Chabad. He born 231 years ago. And he said like this. He says, She'amirat Tehilim po'elet lechesed u'lerachamim. That means when a person says Tehilim, it causes mercy and compassion to the entire world. Not only that, ושוברת את כל המחיצות. That means it's destroy the entire division that there is between us and the Almighty. Do you understand that? That's unbelievable. Listen what else he said. ועולה בלי שום הפרעה. That means that the davening of Tehilim goes straight up to heaven and nothing, no angel, no criticizer can stop the Tehilim to go up. That means no one can stop that praise. No one can stop the davening going up to heaven when you say Tehilim. That's the Tzemach Tzedek. A Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov, he was the person that started, Has v'shalom to say a person, he was a great rabbi. He was the one that started the Hasidut movement in the world. Not a lot known about the Baal Shem Tov. His name was Rabbi Israel ben Eliezer. He born around 300 years ago. It's not sure where he born. So I'm frightened to tell you because I saw that there's different opinion where he born, but everyone contradict. So I rather don't say where he born, but they explain like this. And he said like this, She'amirat Tehilim, a person that said Tehilim, listen to the remedy. Sgula le'atzlaha. It's a remedy for successful. Ve'liyirat shamayim. That means for the fear of heaven. Umevatlim et ha'meketregim va'adenim ha'kashim. By that the person say Tehilim, he can reach to hatzlaha, to successful, the fear of heaven, and he can cancel all the criticizer and the bad judgment that there is against a human being. And I'll tell you a story. On Friday, yes, it was Friday morning, I spoke with someone, and he told me that he have a case against him. And the guy that put the case against him is a very vicious person. If he's right or not, it's not the point. He have a very, 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 very vicious, aggressive nature. And that person spoke to his lawyer and they done all different things. And when they, on Friday on Tuesday was supposed to be the final, but on Friday, he found out that the judge threw the case away. Why? Why? Because they didn't prepare it properly. That's the simple. I don't want to get into more detail. Why am I trying to tell you that? That person, for the last 2.5 months, saying Tehilim non-stop, because he have a difficult case that he have to face. That means, in the power of saying Tehilim, look what HaKadosh Baruch Hu done. He thrown the case. He put in the head of the judge to throw the case. And that's unheard of. He said to me, this is unheard of. In his case, like this, there's no such thing. Look what saying Tehilim can do. Let's continue. The Gaon Hida, Rabbi Haim Yosef David Azulai, he born in Jerusalem 296. And in his book, Midbar Kedemot, he brings the source that where is David HaMelech. He brings the source, that's from him, it's the main source, that David HaMelech say like this. He say, Kol HaOmer Tehilim, a person that say Tehilim, listen to that, in Ma'arechet Taf, that means in verse 400, let's call it, okay? Chapter 400, verse 28. Listen what he said. Kol haomer Tehilim bechol yom zoche liot tahat kisei hakavod. That means a person that says Tehilim every day, he merit to be under the chair of glory of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now I want to ask you, don't you want to sit next to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? If a person will ask you, listen, do you want to sit lehavdil, okay, next to a great sage, a great rabbi? Oh, we'll jump. Next to the chair of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Do you understand what we say? We don't. A person that said Tehilim can sit next to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Zohar HaKadosh sent Parashat Beshalach in page 179, folio 1. When a person prays and says Sefer Tehilim, there is secret, basod chokhmah. What it means? There is, according to the mystical, the Kabbalistic rabbi, there is a secret with every word that you say. That means that every poem that we say, because it's been written in Ruach HaKodesh, and the Holy Spirit, there is secret behind every word and every letters that we say in Sefer Tehilim. That means every word that to us it sounds like simple Mizmor LeDavid. David prays. No, there is secret behind it. Not just the translation, there is a mystical secret behind every word in Sefer Tehilim. And why? If anyone will ask you, remember Zohar Parashat Vayishlach, page 179, folio 1, because it's been written in the Holy Spirit. There is, I don't know how many of you heard about Rabbi Naftali Hertz. Rabbi Naftali Hertz Bachach, he born in the city of Frankfurt in Germany. He lived during the 16th century, and he was one of the students of Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Tzhak Luria Ashkenazi. And he wrote the book Emek HaMelech. Emek HaMelech, it's a Kabbalistic book, deep book. Not many people can deal with that. In page 15, listen what he said. הרגיל באמירת תהילים מבטל מעליו כל פורעניות וכמה פגעים רעים מעליו ומעל בני משפחתו וביתו וכל בני דורו. Listen what he said. Rabbi Naftali Hertz say that the person that get used to say Tehilim, he cancel all different decrees against him, all bad things that can happen to him, not only him, the member of his house, okay, the member of his family, and the entire world, an entire generation. Do we understand the power of saying Tehilim? Another remedy, listen to that. And there's many more. I'm going to bring another two, and with that I'm going to end, because there's so many that we can't stop. HaPele Yoetz. The Pele Yoetz is a book that's been written by Rabbi Eliezer Papo. Rabbi Eliezer Papo, born in the city of Sarajevo in Bosnia. He born 234 years ago. In Sefer Pele Yoetz, when he speak about Tehilim, because it's different chapters, when he speak about Tehilim, the book of Tehilim, he said like this. Listen to that. Yeshna Kabbalah b'shem anshe shem kedoshim. That means we have a Kabbalah, we have and we know that a person that say Tehilim in the name of the holy kedoshim, that means the Kabbalistic rabbi, the mystical rabbi, listen. Shemi sheyesh lo dohak, a person that is in dire strait, or he have agony, tsar, or pain, or me'alech baderech, that he's traveling, or over bayam, that he's sailing in a sea or in a river, v'yikra sefer Tehilim, the entire book of Tehilim, without stopping, every day, with kavana, with focusing, with understanding, and he read it with, obviously, with humbleness, and he guaranteed to him, listen to that, he will see miracle. And then he end up, v'zeh badukum noseh, and that being checked and being tried. That means that he tried it himself, and it's been checked by him. Pele Yoetz, Rabbi Eliezer Papo. He continue and explaining that the book of Tehilim, when you read it with full kavana, when you're focusing on a word, not just running through it, and you say it with yirah, that means with fear, that person will see miracle. Rabbi Pinchas Shapira Mikovitz, he born 294 years ago in a city of Sokolov in Belarus. And he wrote Imre Pinchas. He actually, no, let me correct myself. He didn't wrote the book Imre Pinchas. Imre Pinchas been written by his family. That means that he say it, but he never wrote it. Only his family much later on. By the way, the book is been published many, many years later. It's actually published in 2003. Sorry, it's been published in Bnei Brak. And there it says that the person that's suffering, battling with parnasa, that means that he can't make a parnasa. That means he have difficulty to make a parnasa. Everyone understand what is parnasa? Making a living. Okay, or tzarot acharot, or any kind of tzoros. He say, read the book of Tehilim from the beginning to the end with no stop in the middle, and you'll see miracle. And that's a guarantee. That's basically like what Rabbi Eliezer Papo say. That people that have battled with something, if they start reading the book of Tehilim, and that can take 3.5 hours, plus minus 4 hours, depends how fast you're reading, you will see miracle. So now, let's summarize what we read today. We understand today, we learned together today that number one, the book is Tehilim is in plural. Why in plural? We learned that they add up because it's praise, that each one of our neshama can connect to the book of Tehilim. Each one of our neshama can connect to different chapter in a Tehilim. In a time of dire strait, the book of Tehilim, that's the only one. And last week, funny enough, we finished to read the book of Tehilim on Sunday. I don't know if it was on Sunday, but just after we finished the book of Tehilim, a member of the She'ul sent me a voicemail of one of the doctor, and I sent it on a group to say that it was a miracle that Liron is alive. That means that the book of Tehilim that we read and other people read actually penetrate through the heaven. No one can stop those tefillah. So what we can learn from here, Rabotai, that reading Tehilim in any situation, any time, read it with kavana, read it with focusing. Don't just run through it. It can change a lot of decree. And it's a guarantee remedy for parnasa if you finish the entire book. Guarantee for every tzoros, if you finish it, the entire book without stopping in the middle. So we see from here, number one, that the book of Tehilim, it's one of the holy books that we have. It's one of the most popular books that's ever been read, day and night. And you know why they call it David Melech Israel, Hai Vekayam, the famous song? Everyone sing that song, David Melech Israel, Hai Vekayam, everyone know it. Why dafka Hai Vekayam, David Melech Israel, Hai Vekayam? Because it doesn't make a difference. 24/7, all over the world, people read Tehilim. When people sleep in South Africa, people read. And the other side of the continent, when it's day there, they read Tehilim. When they shlofing, we read Tehilim. That means the book of Tehilim never been stopped read. Not only that, sometimes even at night, when it's night for us, people read Tehilim, like we done in Motzei Shabbos. We see from here how the greatest is. And then the Gaon Hida that we mentioned earlier, he wrote another book. It's called Book Yosef Tehilot. And on this book, he explained where's the power? Where's the power of the book of Tehilim? So he said like this. He said that David HaMelech daven and ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu that people will read the book of Tehilim, okay? It will be so powerful that it will be equivalent. He bringing it in Yosef Tehilot, remember, that it will be equivalent like people studying Gemara, the most difficult part in a Gemara. What is it? Negaim and Ohalot. What speak about contamination and Ohalot. We learn from here that when a person read the book of Tehilim, the power of the book of Tehilim is to solve any problem that the person have. Not only that, that book of Tehilim can solve any pain, any sorrow. That means in the power of the book of Tehilim, a person can change his merit, his lack, and he can actually change his verdict from life to death. The book of Tehilim, Rabotai, we don't understand, because we quite often see a person read Tehilim, oh, Shem is a never, only know how to read Tehilim. Has v'shalom to say that. Because when those people that read Tehilim with Kavana, and I say with Kavana, it doesn't make a difference how many chapters you read. That's not what counts. What counts is how you read it and how you understand it. With that, a person can change his luck. That means David HaMelech daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Please, in a merit of reading of book of Tehilim, it's like studying the difficult sugya in a Shas. Shas is the Gemara, Shisha Sidrei Mishnah. Imagine that. So when we hear people saying to us sometime, listen, please say Tehilim, there is a person that got injured, lo alenu, a person that is in dire strait, person need help. When we read the book of Tehilim next time, and we remember what David HaMelech asked, that it's considered to us studying Torah, the most difficult sugya in the Torah, number 2. Number 3, we can bring salvation to this world. We can solve all the problem. That means in the merit of saying Tehilim Be'ezrat Hashem, we should all merit to praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to sing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will listen to our praise, to our davening, to our studying Torah of the book of Tehilim, and can send us Mashiach Tzidkinu speedily in our day. Amen. So now I'm going to give time for questions if anyone have. Because before I forget, I have some hidush to tell you. Last night, I was speaking to one of my friends, one of the Rabbi in Israel, and he said to me, did you hear what happened with Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky? And I said to myself, I have to share it with you. Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky, one of the yeshiva Bahurim came to him, and he came with a mask. He came to ask him a question. And he said to him, Tommy, why are you wearing a mask? So listen to that. The yeshiva bahur said to him, you know, it's the law in Israel, you know, it's the government law. He said, why do you say it's a government law? He said, because it's a government law. He said, no. Don't say it's a government law. The Mishnah Berurah, Rabotai, listen to it. The Mishnah Berurah in Ilchot Tisha B'Av. And I have it here in the front of me, and I marked it, and I want to share it with you. In Ilchot Tisha B'Av, the law of the Ta'aniyot of Tisha B'Av, listen to that. In Siman Taf Kuf Nun Dalet, that means 554, okay? In verse 6, sorry, in verse, in Halacha Hey, that means 5. In Bi'ur Halacha, the Bi'ur Halacha, listen what he said. Yesh leya'ato, that means that you have to give him a suggestion, an advice, and to warn him, ולהזהירו, שלא ילך מפתח ביתו כל היום, ולהחריחו, and you have to force him, יישא סביב חותמו, וסביב פיו, חתיכה כעמר. That means that he's obligated to put the cover over his nose and over his mouth when he go outside. Rabotai, isn't that fit to what we are today in our situation? And when is it? Okay, just a few days ago. Arav David Yosef, the son of Arav Avadia Yosef, brought the source. And funny enough, I was looking for the source, and I couldn't find it until Akadosh Baruch Hu opened my eyes. And I saw the source that he bring. Look here what it says, funny enough. Where is it? Yeah, he bring it in Pitchei Olam. Ayen beSefer Pitchei Olam. That means that the source to it come from the book Sefer Pitchei Olam. That means the Bi'ur Halacha in the Mishnah Berurah in 554, Halacha Ktana, that means Siman 554, in verse 5, look at the Bi'ur Halacha, there he explain that you have to put cover over your mouth and over your nose if there is a situation of a sickness. He there speak about cholera, the disease of cholera. But we learn from here that today we have lo alenu COVID-19, the corona. How much people obligated ונשמרתם מאוד לנפשותיכם ותורתה. And the Rambam pasken that le'alacha, that a person obligated to make sure that he can do everything that he can to make sure that he guard himself from every sickness. One of them, as we all know, is to put a mask. And that's what Bi'ur Halacha bring in Pitchei Olam. Any question, Rabotai? So if anyone have any question, please unmute yourself and ask, and I'll try to answer.
Rav,
yes,
Mark
yes,
speaking.
Marky.
I've got
How are
two
you?
questions.
How are you,
Baruch
Mark?
Hashem.
Good,
Baruch
good,
Hashem. And you, Rav?
Baruch
Okay,
Hashem.
my
I'm
first,
just
I've got
gonna
two short questions.
Sure.
The first one is reading Tehilim at night. Is it allowable or is it better to read it in the day?
Very good. Okay, continue.
And the second question, is it better to read it in English, which we understand, if we don't understand Hebrew all that well?
Very good. So we have here two questions, Rabotai. The question number one, can a person read it during the day or during the night? So that question, I mentioned it in one of the Shorim. Brian, I hope that you remember. You remember that I said that you're not allowed to read Tanakh. You remember, Brian? That means the Mishnah Berurah bring that you should not read. When you say you, it's referring to a male, not to a female. A female allowed to read Tanakh at night, there's no problem, she can read. So now you're going to ask me, how did we read in Motzei Shabbos? That was night. Remember when we heard the story with Liron, that he was in a critical situation. Because he was in critical situation, I decide that we can read. But in general, a male, I'm saying again, male should not read Tehilim at night. Okay? Mark, does that answer your question?
It
Only in
does.
the
That's question number one.
question number 2, just remind me.
Is it better to read it in English, which we understand,
Okay.
or must we read it in Hebrew, which we
Okay.
don't
So-
understand the content?
Very good question. So Hazal explained that when it's come for us to read, to daven, anything, if a person doesn't understand properly Lashon HaKodesh, it's Hebrew, נכון? Rather read it in English, that you'll understand what you're reading, because we explain that when you read the book of Tehilim, it's not a racing track. It's understanding, to saying it with kavana, and to say it for the sake of getting the kedusha. Do you understand? By that you, number one, understand what you say, and number two, saying it with full kavana. Mark, you understand what is kavana?
Of course.
Okay, that's mean more. That's how you can benefit more from saying Tehilim. You follow?
Yep. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other question, Rabotai? Yes, Bechavod, Adam, just unmute yourself.
Rabbi, it's
Yes.
Stephen Kibatsnik. Why is it specifically? Why shouldn't men do Tehillim at night?
Okay,
Why men?
so
Why men?
there is some woman there, so
You can do it privately if you need to. Don't worry.
no, but other people want to know. These other men, I'm just thinking. Okay, I'll explain it very, very simply, but if you don't understand, then you call me. Hazal explained that the Ktuvim, the Tanakh, Torah, Nevi'im, Ktuvim, you don't read at night for the simple reason, because you antagonize the demon. You follow? And the time of the demon is at night. You don't start with them. You understand? By that you read Sefer Tehilim, you actually destroy them. I didn't want to mention it, but you ask. And they're taking revenge against you, against the male. The female that there is in this male and female, like I explained last week, she taking revenge. Okay? I can't talk anymore. Okay.
Understood. Well
If you
understood.
want,
Okay.
I can send you the source. I can send you the source in the Mishnah Brura. There we speak about it in the Shulchan Aruch, if you want.
Okay, good.
Adam, yes, you wanted to ask.
Yes, Mark asked two of my questions. Thank you, Mark. The whole book. All right. A lot of the time we try and say the whole book. When someone's ill, we try and say the whole book. Now you mentioned both. You said it's very important to say the whole book, one opinion, but also it's also okay to say just the prakim, the one parak at a time. I think for me, what I do is I find that I can understand a few chapters, but I say it now. I've got the version with English underneath each word, so that's great. It really is good.
Yes, yes.
The interlinear one. So, would it be worthwhile just to say the Hebrew if you don't understand it or not?
So, like Mark said, if you want to see a salvation, you want to solve certain problem, and each one of us have a problem. Right. Some people have a problem. For example, people want Shlom Bait. There is a special chapter there for Shlom Bait.
Right.
You understand what is Shlom Bait? Yeah. People want for Parnasa. Parnasa want to make a living. There is a special chapter there for Parnasa. People want to find a wife. A person want to find a husband. There is a special chapter that speak about it. When David HaMelech wrote it, he knew the situation that each one of us going to be.
Right.
And he wrote a special chapter for everything. But what's the special about the book of Tehilim? When you read the entire book of Tehilim, okay, you're connecting your soul to the soul of David HaMelech. But the soul of David HaMelech connected to the entire soul of all of Israel. So by that you're saying Sefer Tehilim, the entire book of Tehilim, and you're saying it with Kavanah, you basically open the heaven. So your tefillah basically go up, straight to heaven, and no one can stop it. No one can stop your tefillah. By that you're saying Tehilim, the entire book, you're basically opening the heaven. And then you can ask.
But it's got to be with kavanah.
Kavanah, that you understand. What
Right.
does kavanah mean? That you
Yeah.
understand the word.
Right.
Mizmor leDavid,
Yeah, yeah.
Lamnatzeach binginot, for example.
So I could say it. And
Shir
also-
Ma'alot. You're reading it and you understand every word. That's all. Not the kavanah, what was David HaMelech. That's leave
No,
to
no,
the
no,
Kabbalistic.
just
We're not
the-
on that level.
No.
Just to understand what I'm saying, if I understand what I'm saying, that's enough kavanah. So when you say that, and I tell you another remedy that I didn't want to mention, but you're speaking about it, I will. If a person need anything, say the book of Tehilim, complete with full kavanah. After you finish, ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu for what you want, for what you need, but what you really need, and say it properly. Don't say, I need a wife, I need money. No, I need a wife that's going to be a good wife, a wife that can be ezer kenigdo, for example. A person need a parnasa, I need a good parnasa, I need a parnasa that's not going to be a parnasa that has v'shalom, will be depends on other people, a parnasa that will be with a lot of bracha, a parnasa that I can make a living and I can be happy with that, and I don't need to be embarrassed by anyone. That's how you ask. For example, a person that need health, not say, send me health. No, send me health to the entire Ramah Evarai V'Shisa Gidai, everything. If he's suffering from something specific, he must mention that. That means that when you ask, after you finish the book of Tehilim, ask specifically what you need. And if you ask that, you'll see the miracle. Like Abrot, the Emek HaMelech say, and the Pele Yoetz, if they say that, Baduk hu menuseh. What it means, Baduk hu menuseh? That means it's been checked, that they checked it, and they tried it. You know, Emek HaMelech is the student of Rabbi Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Yitzhak Luria Ashkenazi. You know what is it? Those people, they're Kabbalistic. They don't say words for nothing. If they say that, there's a guarantee. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's the difference. So you can say it in English as long as you understand what you say. The word that you are reading, that's what you have to understand.
But isn't there something? The part of the segula or the remedy is the Hebrew. If you
The
can,
Hebrew, nachon, but
if
because
I can read the Hebrew and kind of understand it, then I must just make sure that I understand the words. Some of the words that I'm going to understand.
That will be the best. That's the highest level, because you understand the Hebrew. You read the Hebrew because why? Because, and then when you read the book of Tehilim, okay, I'll explain to you. Okay, you ask, I'll explain it. When we read everything in Hebrew, these Shemot HaKodesh, what it means Shemot HaKodesh? The holy name. Those holy name, you can only say it in Hebrew. You understand? And when you say it, you're basically creating the name of the Almighty. But by that you also understand and you read it in English, that's the limit. So lehatchila, a person obviously should read it in Sfat HaKodesh. But if you can't, Hazal say, read it in English, and it's as good. But when you read it in English, you're obviously saying the letters. What letters? Hebrew letters. You're creating holy name that we don't understand about it. Here, don't ask me anymore. I don't know nothing. You understand me, Adam?
Yeah.
Any other question, Rabotai? Anyone want to ask anything else about? Lawrence, you want to ask something? Come on, guys. The book of Tehilim, we have to understand what are we doing with that.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure, who's that? Who's asking?
Gavin.
Gavin, hello, Gavin. Thank you
How
for
are you?
joining us. Baruch Hashem, how are you doing? Are you keeping safe?
I'm trying to.
Good. Yes.
Okay, the question I've got is, David HaMelech used to say Tehilim at 12 o'clock at night.
Nachon. Where do we learn that? It says, Hatzot Laila akum leodot lach. Hatzot Laila, midnight. Hatzot Laila akum leodot lach. Yes.
So then what would be wrong with saying it at night? I mean, in the source of David HaMelech.
Oh, very good. Very
Say it
good.
at midnight.
Hatzot Laila, I understand your question. Because I say that at night we shouldn't say it. Hatzot Laila, midnight, from midnight, you can start studying Tanakh. That means from sunset until midnight, you're not allowed to learn Tanakh. From midnight, what does it say? Hatzot Laila. Hatzot Laila akum leodot lach. At midnight, David HaMelech used to wake up. You know how long David HaMelech used to sleep?
3 hours. 2 hours,
Never.
I think.
Shitin Neshmin, Hazal say, 60 seconds. 60 seconds. We don't understand. David HaMelech is not something that we understand. David HaMelech, it's not something that anyone will understand. David HaMelech used to have a violin. And the violin, listen to that. What it means, Hatzot Laila akum leodot lach? The violin at midnight used to make a noise. The wind used to come, Hazal say, and the violin used to make a soft noise. David HaMelech up. Hatzot Laila akum leodot lach. At midnight, I'm standing up to thank you, to praise you, the Almighty. Hatzot Laila akum leodot lach. And that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, it's in Kamon
How many
Brachot.
people can do it? Yeah.
I don't know if you've got
Hatzot
enough toilets, you
Laila.
can wake up in the middle of the night.
נכון? Hazal say, the Rambam Paskin, there is a shaila in Elchot Briut, in Elchot, when it's come to health. How many hours a person should sleep a night? The Rambam tackle that. The Rambam say a person should sleep minimum 6 hours, maximum 8 hours.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? That means a person that sleep less than that can't focus. I can tell you on myself, if I sleep less than that, I become a question mark. But I have a friend that he need only 3.5 hours a day to sleep. That means he go to sleep at 12 o'clock, listen to that, 3:30 in the morning he's awake. And it's enough for him. He said to me, it's enough for him. These people like this, that's the body that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given. What can we do? It's different. Anyone want to ask a question?
I believe they were like working and then, was it learning as well? The Rambam said like 8 hours? Like 8 hours learning and 8 hours working?
I missed you, Stephen. Speak slowly, what?
Like the Rambam, didn't he say 8 hours like learning and 8 hours like one's working? That's a split. Like he said, it's a third of a day. Hey? Like you said, the 8 hours sleep.
The Rambam
to learn and then to work.
Try to give us a way of life that you should work for 8 hours.
Yes.
Sleep maximum 8 hours, and the rest is for studying.
Sorry, yeah.
You know?
Just like
You
a
follow
third
what I'm saying?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a third. Yeah.
It means split the day to 3.
Right.
Third of the day, sleep, maximum.
Yeah.
Third of the day, work.
Work, yeah.
And
8 to
third of the day for Torah studying.
30. Okay.
Yeah.
8 hours.
Any
studying,
other
20.
question?
Yeah, Rabbi, sorry, just when we say like the Tehilim for health, Parnasa, whatever it may be,
Who's speaking? Who's speaking? So I know Adam. Yes, Adam. Yes. Sorry. When we see the Tehilim for
whatever you're saying, the special occasions, it's got the
that's it. Yeah.
So let's say for illness, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 prakim chapters. So are you supposed to say those 5 and then ask for the
refuah? Yeah. Okay. If you look there, there's chapter 6. Chapter 6 is for people suffering from the eyes. Mizmor Vav. Vav is 6, especially for the eyes. People that have problem with the eyes can read that. Yeah, and all different. If you look there in the side, Hazal given us which one is good for what. But if you want to see the remedy, if you want to see the power, the complete power, the entire glory of HaKadosh Baruch Hu coming to you, you want to see glory, you want to see salvation, read the entire book slowly, word by word, and then ask. And then you'll see miracle. That's Emek HaMelech.
And so sorry, one more thing.
Who can argue with Emek HaMelech? Rabbi Naftali Horowitz. Yeah.
Rabbi Nachman with the Tikkun HaKlali.
You're talking about Tikkun Klali, the 10 Mizmorim. That's a special thing. Rabbi Nachman, okay, let me explain to everyone because you understand that. I don't know if the rest understand. Rabbi Nachman Mibreslev revealed to us a secret that there is 10 Mizmorim, special 10 Mizmorim that they call Tikkun HaKlali, that those 10 poems, the 10 chapters of Tehilim, it's good for everything, but it's especially for the male for male. I don't want to continue. You know what I'm talking about, Adam. And it's very, very good to say it. It's purified the soul. It's helping a lot the neshama to be uplifted. So Rabbi Nachman Mibreslev revealed those special 10 chapters, and it's called Tikkun Klali. What it means, Tikkun Klali? The entire... Rabotai, if you're making noise, it's difficult for me to focus, so just try to help me. So this Tikkun Klali that Adam's speaking about, Rabbi Nachman Mibreslev revealed to us these special 10 chapters that are very special. Is that what you're referring to, Adam?
Yeah.
Those 10 Tehilim, they're very special. Yes.
We've got to mention him in the name of Rabbi Nachman, is that right?
No, Rabbi Nachman revealed to us those 10 Tehilim, but he never wrote it. No, it's in Sefer Tehilim. Rabbi Nachman born, David HaMelech, first of all, let's understand the different time. David HaMelech was the second king that we have. David HaMelech dug the foundation of Bet HaMikdash. And that's what you see. Hazal tell us in a Gemara. Maaseh yadehem shel David veMoshe, nothing got destroyed. Whatever David HaMelech and Moshe done, nothing got damaged. That means Moshe prepared the Mishkan, all of that, that's been hidden, not got destroyed. David HaMelech dug the foundation. Until today, you see the foundation of Bet HaMikdash. You see the Kotel HaMa'aravi, the Western Wall. No one can destroy it because David HaMelech done it. Not only that, David HaMelech was not allowed to build Bet HaMikdash. You know why? Yeah. Why is Shlomo, his son, built Bet HaMikdash and not David? Hazal explained, because David HaMelech
blood on his hand.
He had blood on his hand with the Plishtim. David HaMelech, he killed Goliath. You saw what he done to Goliath. Everyone was scared of Goliath. David HaMelech himself. When Shaul given him his armored suit, it fitted him beautifully. That's when Shaul became jealous of David HaMelech. David HaMelech, not to antagonize him, entice him, he took the suit. He said, I'm not comfortable. David HaMelech took with him 5 stones, 5 halukei nahal, 5 river stones. And he wrote the name of, he said, Shema Israel Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And when he said that, all the 5 stones turned to one, and a miracle happened. When he threw the stone, Hazal say that the armor of Goliath, the metal gone up, and the stone penetrated between the eyes of Goliath. And Goliath, instead of falling backwards, he fall forward. Why? Because Goliath helped David HaMelech to take his head off. And that's why the reason that today, how do we do Brit Milah? Only with steel. Bakol Malim. With everything you can do Brit Milah, with stone, everything. But because HaKadosh Baruch Hu now show his gratitude to the steel, that what was wearing? Goliath, the armor, the face armor that lift up, and the stone penetrated in the hand of Goliath. HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, in that merit, everything is kosher, but you will do Brit with what? With steel.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? What is David HaMelech? We don't understand. We think David HaMelech. David HaMelech, not for nothing being called David Melech Israel Chai Vekayam. I'll tell you another story about that. Look at the word David. Daled, Vav, Daled. Daled, Vav, Daled. That's how you write David. Whenever you turn David up, down, wherever you put it, front to back, back to front, it's always going to stay David. Hazal tell us there is 3 names like this. David, Ishai, Natan. Those 3 names, the most strongest name. Wherever you turn them, wherever you put them, even if they're down, they're always going to come back, upside down. David HaMelech, we don't understand what is David HaMelech. We don't. David HaMelech never for 1 second doubt HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's
Rabbi?
David HaMelech. Yes, who's asking?
That's Brenda.
Hello, Brenda. How are you?
Hi,
Yes.
how are you? I just want to ask you now, after all this, why then was David HaMelech not supposed to live?
Not supposed to?
You say he was supposed to be born and then die straight away.
Nachon, because he have a special neshama. That's what I explained in the beginning. When Adam HaRishon saw that David HaMelech was supposed to be born, and immediately to die, because he's a special neshama, such a special neshama, he said, you know what? I'll give that neshama 70 years of my life. Now, I want to ask you, Brenda, which human being will give someone else his life? Nowhere, nowhere, no such thing. You'll never heard about it. And Adam HaRishon done it because he knew what David HaMelech can do for us. And we saw what David HaMelech done for us, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah.
You follow?
I do. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Pleasure.
Sorry, one more question,
Robert, I
Rav.
needed to drink something because my throat was dry. Yes, Mark.
Are you able to tell us which are the 10 prakim for the Kli?
Tikkun Klali.
Tikkun Klali.
Sure. Do you have pen and paper? If you give me 1 second, can you give me 1 second?
I'm just going to fetch some paper.
I'll go and fetch it for you.
There you go, dear. But this, I think, is only for men.
I can't write it down for you.
Tell me when you're ready. I'm sorry, it took me 1 second, and I'm with you.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. So Tet Zayin is 16. 16, okay?
Yep.
Lamed Bet, it's 32.
Okay.
Mem Aleph, 41.
Okay.
Mem Bet is 42.
Right.
Nun Tet, 59. Ain Zayin, it's 77. Tzadik is 90.
90.
Kuf Hey, 105. Then Kuf Lamed Zayin, 137. And the final one is 150. That's the 10 chapters of Tikkun Klali.
And this is only for men, or can women do this as well?
No. This is especially for men to say it if they want extra kedusha. Women can say it. Listen to me. Women can say it. It is a beautiful segula for women. It's a beautiful segula for men. But for men, it's especially to bring the nitzotzot. What it means, the nitzotzot? It's usually when a male is young. Sometimes he's doing stupid thing. You know what I'm talking about? Marky, do you understand me?
Yep.
Yeah. So when a person young and he doing stupid thing, when they go with women that they're not married, when they go lo alenu with all different things and they're wasting, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
This is the segula to bring all of those sparks back, because every one of those drop, there is a neshama, and those neshama take revenge. So when you say that, what you doing? Every male can change his luck by saying that. Especially, obviously, a woman, it's very powerful. But for a male, there is no better than that. And Rabbi Nachman Mibreslev revealed that to us, that those 10 chapters is something very important. And in Sefer, every morning when we daven, there is a secret name. What it means, secret name? One of the holy name. Het Bet Vav. I mustn't mention that name, so I'm just mentioning the letters. Those names, it's all hidden in the 10 chapters. It's a special name that HaKadosh Baruch Hu have that help all of those nitzotzot. Nitzotzot is spark of the neshama to come back to make it holy, that a person can bring it.
Thank
okay?
you, Rav.
Any
Thank you
other
very
question, Rabotai? Pleasure, Mark. Yeah, who asking?
Rabbi, it's Lawrence. I don't have a question, but I did want to just thank you for the class. I think it's been very interesting for me. My wife says Tehilim much more than I do, but I think after this, I'm going to start joining her and being much more diligent in my Tehilim saying.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, Lawrence, let me take the opportunity, first of all, Rabotai, I would like on behalf of me and on behalf of all of you to wish Lawrence a long life. Lawrence, as you all know, Lawrence lost his dad. Is that Gerald Sachs? You remember from our shul? Member of our shul for many, many years. Wish you a long life. May you never see any more sadness. But while you're talking about it, Lawrence, when you say Tehilim, you can uplift the neshama to the higher level in heaven.
Right.
The power of Tehilim, it's for everything. We don't understand that. The power of Tehilim, Lawrence, it's for every little thing. David HaMelech was in every situation, and he wrote that. So when you say Tehilim, you say during the day, Remember, when it's day, the neshama just can flow and flow and flow and flow, and you don't know where is the place. Because at the moment in South Africa, we can't say Kaddish. You know, we can't daven in public, so there's no Kaddishim. So the only thing that you can help, I don't know how is it in Canada, because you live in Canada, right?
Yeah, I can
you
say
can say
Kaddish.
in public.
Yeah.
So Baruch Hashem, you're lucky. The Kaddish can uplift. Okay, I would like to take the opportunity, Rabotai, next week's Thursday, we usually have a show, but it's a fast day, and I'm not the greatest faster, and it's going to be very difficult. So with your permission, if you don't mind, I will earlier the show to Wednesday night, because on Thursday is Shva Asar B'Tammuz, and on Thursday night, on Wednesday night, we're going to make the show with your, if you don't mind, guys, because after a fast, I'm basically a question mark. I can't focus. And with all of those questions that you guys having, I need to be focused because I'm not a great scholar person, so I need to be focused. So we'll do the show on Wednesday night. I would like to take the opportunity again, Lauren, to wish you a long life. May you never see sadness. Please, God, that you'll see from now on only simcha, you and your family, your entire family, only smahot, please, God. And please, God, the book of Tehilim, that David HaMelech will stand and daven for us, and will ask a Mashiach to come already. We need Mashiach. Enough to all the tzoros. I tell you, last night, I was on a phone to Israel. I have student in a bad situation in a corona, and to ask my rabbi in Israel, to ask other rabbonim, to ask other people how to solve problem, what to do. I was until almost 11 o'clock at night in Israel's time, speaking to rabbonim to the situation. There's a lot of tzoros in the world, and every day I get a phone call from people that I don't even know about. The tzoros that I hear. We are so close to the Mashiach coming, we don't know. So please, God, David HaMelech will stand in tefillah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our days, and we all gonna merit to see Mashiach, and then the Mashiach will say, Dai letzarotenu, enough to our tzoros. Amen, ken yeh ratzon.
Amen.
Guys, wish you all a good night. Keep safe. Please, keep safe. Wear a mask. Don't be shy to wear a mask. And if you don't need to go outside, please don't go outside. You know,
Well, Rabbi,
I don't want to go outside, but what can we do? Work is work. Rabotai, keep safe, keep healthy. Have a good night. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Rob.
Pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Rolf. Thanks.